Have you ever dreamed of breaking free from everyday routine and starting a life-changing journey of self-discovery? Then a gap year might be right for you. But if you aren't sure what to do with your time, don't worry and get ready for some inspiration. Hey Go community, in this video we're going to be sharing some exciting gap year ideas, tips on planning one, and how you can use Go Overseas in your planning process to ensure you're making the most of your time. If you're on a tighter budget or you're wanting to save money while taking a gap year, then doing a work exchange might be the perfect option for you. The way a work exchange works is you'll get accommodation, free meals, Wi-Fi, laundry, and other similar benefits in exchange for your labor. A very popular one is you can work at a hostel. This is an excellent opportunity to meet travelers all over the world, and some of the day-to-day responsibilities might include managing the reception desk, changing the sheets, laundry, and cleaning. In exchange, you'll be provided with accommodation at the very same hostel, and sometimes you might get food or partake in some of the activities that the hostel offers. If you love working with your hands and have a passion or an interest in agriculture, then working on a farm might be the opportunity for you. You'll be able to partake in the entire agricultural process at a farm. In exchange for work, you'll receive accommodation and meals. WOOF is the largest organization that connects volunteers with these opportunities. And lastly, you can join a working holiday program, the ultimate way to work and travel simultaneously. These programs will arrange jobs for you in the country that you plan on staying and visiting. Trip coordinators will arrange these jobs, and even some programs might offer you the opportunity to book tours or day trips through that very same program. If you're interested in this type of work exchange, Global Work and Travel offers working holiday programs in over 25 countries. Another exciting gap year idea is being an au pair. As an au pair, you will be a live-in nanny for a family overseas. Some of the duties of an au pair are helping with the cooking, cleaning, assisting kids with their homework, and or teaching them English depending on the country that you are an au pair in. In exchange for those services, an au pair gets to, of course, live with the family. They might get a living stipend, meals, and even some families offer free language classes. Some popular countries to be an au pair in are Germany, France, Italy, China, Switzerland, and Australia. Under the umbrella of volunteering, there are so many options. And in this section, we're only going to mention a few ideas of what you could possibly do as a volunteer abroad. Just keep in mind, there are so many different volunteer projects all over the world. So if you really want to make a positive impact as a volunteer within the communities of the countries that you are planning to go and visit, then here are some ideas for you. You can volunteer at a women's empowerment center in India, be a medical volunteer in Greece, or teach English in Bali. If you're looking for volunteer opportunities that are more focused on conservation, whether it be helping save animals, conserving the planet, or a combination of both, here are some ideas. Volunteer at a sea turtle and marine conservation through IVHQ, or you could volunteer at a wildlife conservation and work with elephants with GVI. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the section, there are many options when it comes to volunteering abroad. And because this is a very popular activity among gappers, we want to give you a little Go Overseas tip. Think of the type of cause you're looking to support, your skills, interests, how long you can commit to these programs. Some programs do have length requirements, and also think of your budget. So another idea could be a gap year focused on wellness. And here's an example of what that could look like. Practice yoga at an ashram. This idea is perfect if you are wanting your gap year to focus on self-care. Or perhaps after years of studying or working, or a combination of both, maybe you want to take some time for yourself to reconnect and center yourself. And why not do it through yoga or meditation? Taking a yoga-centered gap year is a great way to reset and go on an interpersonal journey. Your gap year is filled with different types of yoga retreats in different locations, or maybe you want to take your practice one step further and you decide to take some training courses and get certified to be a yoga teacher in some of the most beautiful places in the world, like Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Thailand, India, or even here in the United States, in some of the Southwest states like Arizona or New Mexico. If you love working and interacting with kids, why not work at a summer camp? And the best part is that there are different types of summer camps with different types of activities, so you can find something that more aligns with something that you like. So if you want to teach, you can teach English at a summer camp in Asia. If you love sports, coach at a sports camp, or lead outdoor education courses in a summer camp in Europe. Maybe sports are not your thing, but you love the arts. You can work at an arts or music camp. Popular destinations for this type of gap year are the US, Canada, the UK, Italy, Spain, and China. To explore more of these programs and destinations, click the link in the description. How does cliff diving, rock climbing, rafting, and mountain biking sound? If you're like, where do I sign up? This is the program for me. Then here are a few different ideas and programs that offer this type of adventure travel. Maybe you're like, I'm ready to finally learn how to surf. Why not learn how to surf on Australia's East Coast with Pacific Discoveries program? And maybe you want to develop your leadership and communication skills, but also do 3 to 5 day expeditions. With Irish Gap Year's Adventure and Leadership program, all of those things are a possibility. Or maybe spending a week at a Tibetan Buddhist monastery and embarking on a challenging 2-week trek through the Himalayas with Where There Be Dragons is more of your style. Or why not become scuba certified in Fiji with one of ARC's programs? And lastly, learn a new language. So maybe adventure travel or volunteering isn't your thing, but you want to focus on deepening your knowledge in another language. Then a gap year is a perfect time to do so. Learn Spanish doing Tico Lingo's Spanish immersion course in Costa Rica, learn Japanese in Tokyo with EF, or study Arabic in Palestine with the Excellence Center. If you're still wanting more gap year ideas, then head over to gooverseas.com and check out this article. Remember, you don't have to limit yourself to just one program or activity. You may have a few different interests, and that's okay. What will help deciding what it is that you want to do during your gap year is planning. Planning and organizing your gap year is the best way to enjoy it. Having your budget, timeframe, and goals clear will help you decide what programs and activities you want to do during your gap year. So here are some general questions to ask yourself. What is your budget? What are your goals and aspirations for taking time off? Where do you want to go? If you liked all of the ideas we mentioned, start with a country or countries you've always wanted to visit and see what programs and activities are available there. What skills do you want to improve? Now, if you're in school and you're going to take a gap year, a good question to ask yourself is, can you defer your admission, scholarships, and financial aid if you're taking a gap year while you're employed? Will your company allow you to take time off? Or will you need to quit your job? Step number 2, decide where to go. The world is a big place and there are so many destinations to visit, including in your home country. You don't always have to leave the country to take a gap year. And taking a domestic gap year can actually help you save money. Regardless of where you pick as your travel destination, here are some important criteria to consider when making the decision. What languages do you speak? And do you want to be immersed in a foreign language? Visas. Do you need a visa to visit a certain country? What countries can you get a visa for? How long would that visa allow you to stay in that country? Health restrictions. What are the current health restrictions for international travel? Do you need certain vaccinations to enter a country? Activities you are interested in. What activities do you want to participate while abroad? We've mentioned quite a few ideas today, so take the time to explore all of the ideas. Budget and cost of living. What is your budget and what country can you afford to live in throughout your gap year experience? Step number 3, determine your goals for your gap year. We've said this quite a few times throughout the video, and I may or may not sound like a broken record at this point, but how you want to spend your gap year is entirely up to you. In the first step, we discussed more of the logistics for determining your goals. In this step, we encourage you to focus more on your goals when it comes to personal growth and personal development. So setting your goals and intentions for your trip will really help ensure that you're making the most of your time abroad. Setting goals for your gap year will look different for everyone. If you're taking a gap year before going to college, during college, or you're in the workforce and are deciding to take a break, this can impact your goals and intentions for your gap year. And if you're really unsure what exactly your goal or intentions are, this is a good place to start. Something that we recommend is taking the time to reflect and even journal if that's something you really love to do on your reasons for taking a gap year. And a friendly reminder from someone who has taken a gap year or two, no two gap years are alike. You can combine different activities, different programs. Just make sure that when you're deciding what you want to do and where you want to go, you're taking your goals, your time frame, and your budget into consideration. And speaking of budgeting, that brings us to step number 4. Start budgeting and applying for scholarships. Funding your gap year is essential. You want to make sure that you can do everything you want to do without being stressed about finances while you're traveling. So when it comes to budgeting, outline the cost beforehand and pull all the costs and information into a spreadsheet and decide if your gap year will be a low end, middle end, or high end gap year. Knowing the country or countries that you are wanting to travel to and how long you're planning to stay there for will help you figure out where on the spectrum your gap year will be. Another thing to do is think of the costs that you will incur. For example, visa fees, program fees, flights, and accommodation. If you want more budgeting resources and help, read How to Budget for Your Gap Year. Setting and having a clear budget is super important. It will help you plan for your savings goal and for potential expenses. It will help you clearly understand what programs and activities are within your budget and what you can actually do during your gap year. And it will give you peace of mind when traveling abroad. Honestly, knowing that you have some of your big expenses covered, like program fees and flights, will allow you to live your gap year to the fullest without having the stress of money kind of lingering over your head. And lastly, for step number 4 is apply to travel scholarships. There are so many scholarships and grants available for travelers to fund their gap year abroad. If you're taking a gap year prior to going to school or even during your time, check with your school on the scholarship or financial aid transfers that they may offer if your gap year offers some academic credit. Also take a look at the gap year program providers that you consider doing programs with. They commonly have need-based scholarships to make their programs more accessible to more people. And lastly, Go Overseas actually gives away $5,000 every year to help a traveler fund their gap year. This scholarship is called the USA Gap Year Fairs Scholarship. The scholarship is currently closed for 2023, but you can learn more about it by visiting gooverseas.com. And if you want to make sure you know exactly when it opens up for 2024 or other scholarship and grant opportunities, make sure you follow us on Instagram or sign up for our newsletter. And you can actually see last year's winner being surprised by some of our team members. You can find it right here on our YouTube channel. And who knows, maybe next year, this could be you. On Go Overseas, you can browse over 15,000 programs and read over 50,000 reviews from our community members. So here is how you can use Go Overseas when deciding which program is right for you and in your planning phase. You're gonna hover over to Programs Abroad and click Gap Year Abroad. Or you can simply click the link in our description and it will take you directly to this page. Here, you can read more on gap years and find additional resources. So if you're trying to explore some programs, you can either explore by region or program type. So if you know you want to go to a specific country, let's use Australia as an example, you can filter by clicking Australia and all the gap year programs available in Australia will show up. If you know the program type, so for example, you really like one of the adventure travel ideas we mentioned in the video, you can filter by type. Click adventure travel and it will pull up all the different types of adventure travel in either Australia or around the world. Let's say you click on a program that piques your interest, and here you can read more about the program and read what alums have to say. If you look over here on the right side, you can see this little heart that says create a wish list. If you create an account, you can save your favorite gap year programs to have easy access when planning. And there you have it. All there's left to do is to start exploring and planning your gap year. So if you're ready, head to the links in our description. Every single one we mentioned, you'll find them down below. Thank you so much for watching, and let us know in the comments which gap year you will take.